Can I say something? I want to take some time here. There is this in the aftermath of this election. There is this false idea. It's like, you need to understand the salt of the earth nature of the people that vote for these guys, Matt. It's democratic arrogance that got us into this situation. No, it's 120 million frickin' people who could have voted not voting, because the margin is actually pretty close. And this is something that happens with consistency, particularly in years where Democrats adopt a much more pro-moderate Democrat, Republican light agenda, which they did, and it blew up in their face. If you can't be a proud freaking Democrat, don't expect the rest of the world to be one for you, okay? There's no nobility in hiding from who you are. Be a middle-of-the-road Democrat. You don't have to be super progressive, but you shouldn't be Johnny Moderate and ask yourself, why is the case? I mean, like I said, nothing makes me more infuriated when Democrats sort of say, if we were only more moderate, the progressives would have shut up. Dude, how much more moderate could you have been than Kamala Harris running around the country with Liz freaking Cheney? Exactly. The idea is that the Democrats ignore kind of the way the salt of the earth people go. And I'm like, no, they just, there's this idea that the Democrats are missing that Norman Rockwell painting where it's the community meeting and the dirty farmer is standing up and talking and all the people are looking up at him in adoration as he says something. And who could argue with that? Yes, exactly. Blazing Saddles still is one of the funniest movies of all time. Anyway, but I digress. That's not reality. The reality is what you're seeing right now, where there's a whole bunch of people going, wait a second, what was that about all my workers on my farm getting deported? What was that about tariffs and everything costing more? What was that about getting rid of Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security? What was all that? He wasn't serious, was he? Yes, he was. They're going to close my school. They're not going to be any help and funds for my kids. He's going to get rid of benefits for disabled people. Yep, that's what he's going to do. And the reason why is they didn't vote for him because of any of his policies. Well, some of the racist ones, sure. The ones they don't want to admit to now, but yes. But they voted for him because they just wanted to own those libs. They own those libs. And wait a second here, that's going to be what do you mean my work crew is going to be gone? Exactly. I'll give you another great example of this. Do you know why Republicans push for church in school? Now, I am a Christian. Once again, disclaimer, you do or don't do whatever it is you do or don't want to do. I am a Christian, okay? This is not about converting anyone. I'm just going to bring this up as observation. You can go to pretty much a Christian church any day of the week if you want to. And I have friends, even Republican friends, who indeed do that they are at church 4 or 5 times a week with their kids. My kids have been friends with other kids who the primary socially outlet for them was at church in a church youth group. That's perfectly fine. You want to put church in your kid's life. You want to put any religion in your kid's life, whether that's Muslim or Jewish or whatever, or no religion at all. That is your right. And you can add as much or as little as you want to. And as a parent, you can do that with your own kids. And that is easy. There are, like I said, right now, within probably a mile of me, there's 20 churches, and most of them have activities every single day of the week. And you can participate. Knock yourself out. But you see, is one problem for a lot of conservative voters, and I saw this firsthand, is all of a sudden they don't want to, Sunday, I mean, that's my one day off. I don't want to have to get up and go to church. Plus, it's got football on, man. Pre-game starts at 9, and the pre-game starts at 8, and the pre-game starts at 6. I don't want to miss any of that. That's the important thing. See, this is about shifting the responsibility of church away from the parents who are, frankly, I'll be blunt, lazy enough. They don't want to take their kids to church or don't want to be there. They basically say, you know what we're going to do? You can sit back home and get ready for a days full of NFL football. We'll take care of forcing the church on them in the school district. and they love them for it. That's kind of the reality of this whole thing. You want religion in your kid's life, you can have it anywhere. This idea that the school district is somehow responsible is an absolute joke. But this is how they do this. And it basically absolves them. It's kind of like with teachers and school shootings. It's the real problem with school shootings is the teacher didn't fire back. No, it's the guns, stupid. It's the guns. But you come up with these outrageous plans because people just don't want to look and say, well, if you want your kids to go to church, why don't you just take them to church? But I got social media pages to be rotting on. Exactly. Or punishing teachers. I brought up teachers there. You know, how many people turn against teachers, not because teachers have done anything wrong, but they get 3 months of vacation every year. Now, I know a lot of teachers, and God bless you. God bless you. You're all just magnificent. I think anyone that gets into the teaching realm, especially in this day and age, deserves a high five, a big hug, and a big freaking raise. That's just me, though. I have yet to know any of my teacher friends who don't work their 3-month vacation almost as hard as they work the entire school year. It's not a 3-month vacation. They have to get classes. They have to stay updated on they've got conventions. They've got classes they got to take. They've got to stay up to date on the regulations and the rules. There's tons that they have to do. Plus, their school year generally doesn't end for until 2 weeks after the school year is over, and they're starting generally 3 to 4 weeks before the school year begins. So no, they're not getting a 3-month vacation. But because it's easier to vilify those for weak-minded idiots that like to think to themselves that they're somehow losing out in life because my boss has passed over me again because I was only drunk at work 4 times. Meanwhile, that teacher gets 3 months off. That's not fair. Exactly. Ta-da! Salt of the earth, my ass. Okay? It's basically blaming other people for their own inadequacies. That's what this is about. A great example of this is the Republicans' vitriol towards DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, DEI is not about stopping anyone else from achieving anything. It's about diversity, which, if you're against that, you're just kind of racist. You know, equity, so everybody gets a fair chance. If you're against that, you know that the system is giving you an advantage. And inclusion, which is mainly about you having icky feelings towards other people, and you don't want to be included. I want them in there. That's about you, dude. That's not about anyone else. But the way that the Republicans have taken that and they've turned this into some sort of evil thing where diversity, equity, and inclusion is it's a bad word, man. No, they're a DEI hire. No, they are just a hire. You don't like them being hired, mainly because of the color of their skin, usually. Henceforth, you're using it as a way to try to insult them as opposed to say, well, maybe I should work harder and I'll have a chance at that job. That's just what it is. So I want to take if I can, stop with this whole notion, this whole idea that what we are doing is really misunderstanding what the blue collar Republican voter is about. No, we already know what it's about. It's about, liking racist ideas, owning the libs, basically being too lazy, so demanding the government take care of things that they wish they should be taken care of, but they don't want to, and vilifying people just because they can. And that's not something we should look up to. It's the Matt McNeil Show.